Why is Broly so strong in Dragon Ball Super Broly? What is the secret of Broly's power and how is he able to compete with a Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta, a fusion of Goku and Vegeta after the Tournament of Power? How is he so strong to be able to go toe to toe with Gogeta Blue for a big chunk of that final movie? You will find out next. Now, when it comes to discuss this, the first thing you have to do is try not to focus on the old Broly lore, like the old stuff left behind for Super Saiyan, about Broly, and all of that. We really can't use that in this context. However, what we can use that similar to is what Vegeta said about Kale in Dragon Ball Super episode 100, I think it was, when he says that Kale may be equals to the old legendary Saiyan. Now, the Tournament of Power manga story says that there was a statement made about how Kale might be referred as a demonic Saiyan or legendary Saiyan, depending of which translation you want to go with. But essentially, what they're referring to is some kind of ancient Saiyan power that Kale has, which does reflects upon Broly in the film, because of course the creation of Kale, she was purely created by Toei Animation and later on adapted to the manga to be a tribute and homage to the original Broly, and that was probably before or around the time of that original script for Broly film was being concocted by Akira Toriyama himself, the legend. Now, with that being said, Gale was really powerful, very fast in the Tournament of Power. Same for about other characters, but Broly in this film supersedes by a long shot. I mean, the dude is getting beaten up by base Vegeta, gets stronger powers up, but you'd have to transform into Super Saiyan, then Super Saiyan God, and then Super Saiyan God Vegeta was able to defeat Broly to where Paragus pretty much is, well, let's just move on and stop fighting. And then what happens in the film is Broly ends up powering up and enraging himself, going into what is being referred to by the fans as the suppressed humanoid great ape form that Paragus discusses, where he can tap into the power of a great ape without having a transformation. And that, if we are to follow the original Dragon Ball, I guess, the guidebooks or whatever you want to call it, would then give Broly 10 times multiplier. So Broly becomes 10 times stronger. Then during his fight with Goku, there's a scene where Goku, of course, uses the God Bind on him, and then Broly powers up and reverses it basically. So what I am trying to tell you here is that Broly just keeps getting stronger and stronger as he's getting defeated by Goku and Vegeta. He just screams, and then more and more power comes out, and he's able to either equal their power or surpass it to the point where by the end of the film, when he fights Gogeta, Gogeta has to go from base to blue, And we know how strong Gogeta Blue is in the film, and if you don't know, I mean, think about it. It's not that hard to figure it out. He's insanely powerful, and Broly is able to give Gogeta Blue a pretty good fight. And it takes several blows from Gogeta Blue to finally put Broly away before the wish was made by Sheila to save Broly's life. Now, the secret to Broly's power, what makes him different from Goku and Vegeta, is that he is essentially the Dragon Ball version of the Hulk. I'd hate to make it so simplified, but that's the way that it is. Broly has the ability to gain strength by getting angry, and Paragus realized this early on in his youth when he saw what Broly was able to do when he became angry, and thus created the machine that could, um, I don't know, connect to a necklace and whatnot that could suppress Broly and give him shocks, and at the same time suppress that anger that he constantly has. That's how he was able to control Broly, because he knows that what King Vegeta said earlier in the movie may be true, and that Broly may be a threat to the entire universe if he gets too angry, so too powerful. So Broly's power is purely based on rage. And now, obviously, with this being stated, the question then becomes, well, will he ever truly be able to harness that power while also being focused on being a true martial artist? In other words, uh, can he ever be able to control that? And the answer, I don't know. I don't have it for you right now, because I cannot predict what Toriyama's gonna write, but what I can tell you is that Kale was able to do it in the Tournament of Powers, so presumably at some point in the future of Dragon Ball Super, should Broly gain training or continuing fighting alongside Goku, then yes, I would assume that maybe he could probably control his strength, his anger. I guess probably daddy issues. Again, it just depends on what they wanna go with the character of Broly. Now, this is actually explained really early in the Dragon Ball Super Broly film, when they show Broly in the nursing capsule and the scientists were examining him. His power level seems low when they first scanned him, and then just moments later it shoots up. So basically his power level fluctuates depending on his mood. That's one thing that is a detail that I missed the first time watching the film, and the second time I was able to pick up on that his power fluctuates, and that's essentially what ends up being told us later in the film, not directly by Paragus, uh, but they do explain, um, by the animation, that storytelling and the stuff, and of course we are watching at the animation, and we're able to put together two and two, and you can actually see Broly, the angrier he gets, the stronger he gets, where Paragus gets killed by Frieza, and Frieza tells Broly that it was, a random blast that killed him or whatever. Then Broly's anger culminates on transforming into Super Saiyan. And as you know, if we're keeping in the original, I guess Toriyama idea of what the multiplier was, that that's a 50 time multiplier now. Now, I'm not a uh, power scalar whatsoever. But many have theorized that with Broly having the suppressed his power as an Osaru form and also being a Super Saiyan, and that 10 times multiplier with a 50 times multiplier stocked uh, on top of that, that would mean that when he becomes a Super Saiyan, that would be 500 times stronger than his original base. So 500 times multiplier, and that's not even including how much stronger he gets during the fight when he gets into a fight with Gogeta and goes into full power mode. So I'm not even gonna try to make calculations here on what his actual multiplier would be. We're just having a discussion here about how this works. So, unlike Goku and Vegeta, his power is purely based on his rage. So, obviously, rage is what helps Saiyans unlock higher abilities. We learned that back in Dragon Ball Z with the Super Saiyan ability. Obviously, Goku had to be angry, and we all remember when Frieza killed Krillin. But of course, he had to go through a lot of training, hard training. But he's also controlling his anger, of course. Same thing with Vegeta. So, same thing with Vegeta, and then later, of course, with Gohan and whatnot for Super Saiyan 2, and you have to have that rage to kind of culminate uh, in transforming into a Super Saiyan, and then you go from there to Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan 4, even, or whatever. Uh, but with Broly, it's a bit different because it's almost like, and I said it earlier, uh, he is the Dragon Ball version of the Hulk, to where he's always angry, and when he fights, he thrives on it. He gets stronger, and here's something funny, like spoiler alert. So there is something interesting in Dragon Ball Super Broly. There was this part where Broly is fighting against Goku, and he was kind of smiling, and they stay in the film that Broly did not really want to fight, but it seems like the more he fights, he the more blooded it gets, the more he enjoys it. So it could end up being like he becomes an addict to fighting, not different than Goku and Vegeta, of course. After all, he's a pure-blooded Saiyan, so that will make him want to fight. This is a race that is known for fighting, so when it comes to Broly, it's not that he was genetically modified, but genes do have something to do with it, because it appears like somebody like Broly who can get so strong so fast just on anger. It is completely random. It does seem to be something that may indeed involve legendary Super Saiyan lore of the story or whatever. Not Yamoshi, but just the original, I guess, fairy tale or folk tale or whatever you want to call it. But also, it seems that it could be just pure natural selection example. Like Goku and Vegeta were able to achieve that transformation, but they were never able to achieve what Broly was able to achieve so fast. Because remember, Broly never actually trained against a competent fighter. It was always against Paragas and when he played around with his pets when he was younger. So the secret of Broly's power, in a nutshell, is his rage. That is why he's able to get so strong. It does make sense with the narrative of Dragon Ball Super Broly and what Toriyama is trying to tell us, and that essentially means is that if he ever is able to tap on his anger at will, he could become the most dangerous fighter in the history of Dragon Ball easily. Easily. Even if he's the dude who gets angry, so and somebody is controlling him with a control device, uh, or Goku and Vegeta Blue are trying the fusion again, or try to train a little bit in the hyperbolic room, uh, they're not gonna be able to stop him. And this dude could do what the old dude tried to do, the old Broly tried to do, and that is uh, wiping out galaxies and killing a lot of people. Not because he's a bad guy, but because he cannot control himself when he's angry. It's like another personality. Again, he is the Hulk of Dragon Ball Super. So that's it. Remember to take care of yourself, check my channel, and see you next time. Bye bye.